taught people from all walks of life how to attain higher states of consciousness. And so what I'll be speaking on are 7 awarenesses in spiritual life. And I'll begin with self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is the natural goal of each and every one of us. And because this knowledge reveals our unchanging and divine nature, it brings the ultimate satisfaction. Now, sometimes our desires would trick us into thinking, oh, if only I had a little more of that, or if only I could be here, or if only I could do this, then I'd feel complete. But the truth is that self-knowledge is completely independent from our external circumstances. It stands alone beyond the limitations of body and mind. So, as we're moving towards self-knowledge, it's important that we understand some of the fundamental laws of nature, such as karma. Now, karma is a concept I'm sure many of you have been familiar with long before me. Before I understood the law of karma, I figured if something good happened in my life, I did it. And if something unpleasant happened, I could quickly find someone or something else to blame. Before I understood that the responsibility for my life falls squarely on my shoulders, I was kind of living a double standard. My teacher used to say, if you plant a lemon tree, you can't expect to eat a mango. Okay? So that means no more being a victim. Ever. No more, why did this have to happen to me? This is not fair. I have been gypped. Everything that happens in our life is a manifestation of our thoughts and actions. And when we truly, truly accept this, then by the same means, we can work to change. So change is where self-effort comes in. And this is something that my master used to speak volumes on. Because self-effort is very, very important in spiritual life, in all life, spiritual life. He used to say, just reading the menu doesn't satisfy your hunger. So, by this, any spiritual ideals that we may have, they must translate into some sort of practice, some sort of daily practice. Yogis call that practice sadhana. It could be any practice, not just yoga practice, I'm partial. And sadhana solidifies our intentions, and it helps us to cultivate right action. The very famous yogi Vasita said there is nothing more powerful than right action in the present moment. So with the understanding of self-knowledge, we can begin to steer the ship of our destiny. Now, all self-effort and used to remind everyone about how very precious is this human birth that we've all been given, this beautiful gift. And how limited really is our time. He used to say, wash your dirty linens while the water's running. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. And in this, he used to tell this great story about a dharmasala. A dharmasala is like an inn. And this inn has 8 million entrances and only one exit door. And inside, a blind person is feeling their way around for the exit. But when they finally get to the exit door, they have an itch. And then they miss the exit door. So in this way, he would illustrate and teach us how the dharmasala is like the cycle of birth and death. Birth and death. It's what in the East they call samsara. And the 8 million entrances are the 8 million species of life that the soul must transmigrate through. But the one exit door is the human birth. Because it's only in the human birth that we can attain liberation, moksha, nirvana, freedom. Only in the human birth. I've had some cats that seemed pretty self-realized, but you know, it's really only the humans. And what happens when we get this wonderful human birth is we get the itch. And the itch represents distraction. Because this is the world of many distractions. We all have our favorites. But you know, the distraction is just a matter of where we focus our energy, where we focus our awareness. And with repeated focus, it becomes a habit. And you know, isn't it true sometimes that the bad habits can be so strong that they can prevent us, they seem to prevent us from becoming who we want to be? You know, a person says, I want to be peaceful. I really do. But every time little things happen, I fly off the hinges like a lunatic. I can't help it. Or, I really know I should take better care of myself. I know I should be healthy. But I can't stop. Fill in the blank. Or here's mine. Here's mine. I know I should be meditating some more or, you know, writing, but I'm there with the Netflix. And I can't stop watching the Netflix. Next. Sci-fi. It's crazy. So it's even when we know better, the bear of bad habits seems to hold us by the scruff of our neck and doesn't allow us to move forward. So fortunately, the ancient sages and rishis, they have some wonderful advice for us. They say, don't worry about the bad habit. Don't worry about it. Just keep bringing in the good habit. Through purification, through self-effort, through right association. And then after a while, the bear of bad habit, he starts losing interest in us. And we in him by some grace. So that's the good news. Now the last point that I want to speak on is devotion, because the Master had said that devotion must be the crown jewel in one's spiritual life. It's a must. Over the summer, Krishi and I went to go see Amma, the hugging saint. Maybe you guys have heard of her. Wonderful, wonderful. And her message was very clear. She said, the heart of humanity is drying up. Drying up. She said, humanity has spent too much energy using their mind and intellect, figure out ways to get more comforts and more material things. But it has not increased our happiness. Not really. Not really. Because all the virtue that we're looking for ourselves, and all the virtue we look for in other people and in society and in the world, come from the heart. Nobody wants on an epitaph, here lies so-and-so, they got the facts right. Here lies so-and-so, they were loving, they were patient, they were tolerant, they were compassionate. So all those virtues come from the heart. From the heart. And the heart is the home of God. So by invoking the God into our life, just like we did with the beautiful invocation at the beginning of our gathering, or at Kirtan, anytime we invoke the God into our life, we turn the cup of our heart up, so it can be filled with the divine source, from the divine source. Because God is truth. God is peace. God is knowledge. God is love. And God is light. And bliss. Don't forget bliss. My teacher used to end every satsang, every gathering we were at, with a blessing. And it started like this. He'd say, please be receptive to the grace of God. Because the grace is already there. Grace is already there. Just a matter of how receptive we are to it. You know, we're all living in an ocean of God's love and healing power and grace. But how do we go to that ocean? Do we bring a teaspoon? Do we bring a big bucket? We bring a waxen pot turned upside down? No grace can get in. So it's this receptivity that's needed. Be receptive. Be open. And when we do that, and even in the process of trying to be receptive, trying to be open, a beautiful inner life starts to reveal itself to us, right? A life of true satisfaction, no matter where you are. I lived in a basement in Queens. Now I'm in Florida. So what? So what? In here. True satisfaction. Expansive vision. Not little vision. Expansive vision. And compassionate action all around. For everyone, for all beings, for the trees, for the flowers, for the bugs, for ourselves. That's where it starts, the compassion and charity for ourselves. Oh, that's kind of it. I wish you all a ton of victory on, your individual paths that lead to our shared goal. So, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai.